Hello my 3D printer peeps. I'm sitting here next to the GeeeTech M1 mini 3D printer. It came in a simple cardboard box and this foam slab slid out of it. Nestled inside this foam slab is the printer. If you are setting up your own M1 3D printer, in this video I will help guide you through that process and get you started on your first print. It does have officially supported profiles for Cura Slicer and ORCA Slicer. Let's pop it open and see what this guy's all about. Here on the top, I've got a sample of filament. Thanks, GeeeTech, we won't be using that. A plastic bag with a nozzle declogging tool, a very long wrench, I appreciate that, I don't like burning my hands, some clippers, a very interesting nozzle with a very, very long threaded base. Almost reminds me of the unicorn nozzle, and a 4 GB micro USB card. When I was in high school, a 1 GB hard drive cost $1,200. We've got a piece of Teflon tubing and a filament spool holder. This is a nice beefy holder. This printer is meant to use 1/2 kilogram or less filament spools. I do just happen to have a few here. This is a 200 gram from Creality. iBoss sent over a 200 kilogram spool. How cool is that? And here we have the maximum size recommended by GeeeTech, and that is from Jiao. This is a 1/2 kilogram spool. That's all we've got up top here. Go ahead and free it from the bag. There's a screen protector. You can probably take that off last. Take out this block of foam. You can pinch it right there. We just slide it right out. You may want to reach in the bottom where this cord is and help bring that out. Be very careful. The board and other components are kind of wedged into it. If you lean it back, you'll notice another piece of foam. Reach in there and just real carefully fish it out. Mine looks like it was out of place, I'm not really sure. And that's it. We have freed the printer from the package. This is a really nice looking little printer. It feels pretty solid in my hands. I like the color, I like the material, and I like the build quality actually. Here you can see the screen, the memory card slot, the control knob. Scrolling down and looking on the side here, you'll see some full-size PTFE couplers. Here is the tool head, and below the print head is the biggest surprise so far, a textured PEI print bed. This is the Tiny Tina print bed. This is the Kokoni print bed, and this is the X-Maker Joy print bed. I am somewhat disappointed in the size of this print bed. As you can see, the X-Maker Joy print bed is considerably bigger. However, it is bigger than the Kokoni print bed, and it is roughly the same size as the Tiny Tina 2. Speaking of the Tiny Tina, it's really hard not to notice the similarities between the two. However, the GeeeTech M1 looks like the next generation iteration of a Tiny Tina. It even has the slot in the top. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, and seeing a modern version of it is actually pretty darn cool. Looking here at the hot plate of the M1, it is also hiding another modern surprise. Are you ready? Check this out. That's right, a nozzle cleaning brush. This was super unexpected and really cool to see. While you are here, you'll notice a zip tie on this tool head. Go ahead and clip that off. But that's not all. Look to the side of your tool head and you'll see a second zip tie right there. Clip that zip tie. Look on the other side and there's another one. These are really easy to miss. Be careful, do not cut your belts. Work this zip tie out. The user manual here kindly provides instructions on how to check and tension the belts on the M1. Holding your hot end, move it left to right. Unless it feels really super loose or really super tight, leave it alone. If it has a nice, firm, smooth movement, we will leave it alone. Grab the print bed and slide it forward and back. If it feels smooth with just the slightest resistance, let's leave it alone. My little buddy here has auto bed leveling. However, the manual does instruct us to tighten the tensioner a little bit before use. I did notice it felt very loose. It is right here. We'll go ahead and turn this knob just a little bit. GeeeTech does not give you a basis on how to tell it's good enough. I went until it felt somewhat firm and was no longer easy to turn. Before putting the bed on my little printer, I'm going to give it a spray with some IPA and wipe it down with a Scott's shop cloth or an Aviva paper towel, something that is lint-free. You will see these little peg holes on the side of the magnetic bed. I don't know what those are for. They do not apply to this printer. To install this print bed in a somewhat tight space, I'm going to hold the bed forward from the back, slide it in. I'm actually going to place my finger over the nozzle scraper section and just help me guide it down straight. This hot plate could use some guidance clips here in the back or even the sides just to help guide this plate in correctly. I'm going to go in, look for that nozzle cleaner, line it up, and drop it down. Not so bad. It's totally doable, and with some practice, I assume it'll get better. But if this printer was backed up into a shelf and you were doing it all from the front, I feel like it could be frustrating. It could be a sticking point, considering you might be taking this off to flex it for every print. And I do think they could have done a better job making some kind of notch to guide this in more easily. I also think they could have cut this back section off so that it could slide over that nozzle brush, locking into place, rather than having to get this thing over it. I'm not saying to clip this section off your print bed, but it might be a good idea to clip this section off your print bed. Let's go ahead and load some filament. I'm going to take the spool holder and we're just going to slide it till it clicks and then slide it again and turn until it locks. And I'm going to use iBoss. This is a 200 gram iBoss mini roll of PLA Craft. Thank you, iBoss. Let's grab a clipper and cut the end of the filament. I am not a subscriber of the 45-degree angle thing. I just cut it and slide it up into this PTFE tube. But we aren't going to do that just yet because we need to run the PTFE tube from this intake to the hot end. They did supply that tube. Go ahead and press it right here into the coupler. It'll go down several millimeters. Please do not pull check it. There are tiny teeth in here that you will break. Once you push this in, filament must be removed and you must depress this ring for those teeth to open and this tube to come out. If you look inside this slot, you'll see the coupler on the hot end. That's where the other side of this tube goes. Just feed it in there. It'll be right there. Do you see it? And push the tube firmly one time into the coupler till it stops. Do not yank on it. You are done. Return here and feed this filament all the way up. You can see it. There it goes. And down into the tool head till it stops. When the filament stops, it's time to plug in your printer and turn it on. Turn on your GeeeTech M1. The M1 boots almost immediately. Click on the button, scroll to prepare, click on the button, scroll to load filament, click on the button, scroll to preheat PLA. Once the hot end is up to temperature, it'll ask you to press the button. Keep in mind, at this time, you can reposition where it purges. I'm going to position mine just a little bit over the heat bed. If you hear a grinding sound, I want you to reach in and loosen the silver knob until the grinding sound goes away. You should hear a smooth humming. You should also see your filament spool turning. You will then see filament come out of the hot end. Do you notice the color is different? That's because During the testing process in the manufacturer, they used black filament. Remove that filament and press Purge More. You can see we now have a nice steady stream of filament. If you'd like to be sure the color you are printing is the color coming out when the print first starts, purge it more until your color comes out. After some purging, you will see the filament that was used for testing has been removed from the nozzle, and we are starting to get a nice smooth purge. And do you see it? It's now the color of the filament you have loaded. You are now ready to go. If you hear excessive grinding, consider loosening that silver knob on the extruder to ease the tension a little bit. That knob is right here. Before we do that, let's take the memory card over to our computer so we can set up ORCA or Cura Slicer and prepare our test print. We will then do the auto bed leveling and the test print all at once with that memory card inserted into the machine. Also, I strongly recommend not using the junky memory card that came with this printer or any printer and buying yourself a quality memory card. I have a link to the cards that I use in my description. Unfortunately, the memory card that came with my M1 does not work. However, if you go to GeeeTech.com and click on Download and then click on M1, you are brought to this very nice screen, which has all the documentation, all the memory card files, and a whole bunch of videos to teach you how to do things. But you won't need those because you've got me. Go ahead here to Related Software and download Test Model, Cura Configuration File, ORCA Configuration File, and a 1 kilogram consumables holder. This is what the 1 kilogram spool holder looks like. It will click into place the same way the included one does. I am going to use ORCA Slicer. Now it's time to add the printer. Go ahead and click right here on the pull-down menu, choose Select Remove Printer. On the pop-up, simply type in GEEE and GeeeTech will come up. Scroll down and look for the M1 printer. Go ahead and select the nozzle you have, or if you'd like, just choose them all right now and get it over with. Go to File, Import, Import Configs. Navigate to your memory card, click into the slicer you are using. We are using ORCA, and choose either the nozzle you are going to be using or all of them. I would choose all of them and press Open. You should see X amount of configs imported. Press OK. Here on the screen, you'll now see the GeeeTech M1 bed. I find it hilarious that it actually represents the nozzle cleaner. That's super cool. We are going to work with generic PLA. And here in the printer list, you should see GeeeTech M1 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, and 0.8. I am going to choose 0.4. Let's go ahead and import their test model. You will see there are 4 of them. Since this is a G-code, there's nothing to slice here, no settings to change. We simply copy these files onto your memory card, and you will be able to print them direct from the printer. If you were working with a normal STL, you would be able to work with it and adjust all your speed, support, strength, scaling, etc., just like you would any other 3D printer and any other STL model. I have gone ahead and moved those files to the root folder of the memory card. Go ahead and pop your memory card into the slot right here. The pins will face the knob. Gently click it in. You will hear a click. When you release, you'll hear a second click. It's now locked in place. To remove it, push it down till it clicks, then let it go. With the memory card installed, turn on your GeeeTech M1. The M1 boots almost immediately. And do you see what it says on the screen? Not leveled. That's really cool. Go ahead and click the knob and scroll down to prepare. Click Prepare Scroll down to auto level, click on that, and the machine will begin the auto bed leveling process. On the screen, you will see the hotbed is heating to 50 degrees. The top number is the temperature it's set to. The bottom number is the current temperature. With the leveling done, you'll see it now says GeeeTech M1 ready. Push the button, scroll to print from media, push the button, look for the test print you want to print. We are going to do test cube. With test cube highlighted, go ahead and depress the button. Highlight print, it'll be in gray, depress the button again, and the print will start. You will see it begins to heat the hotbed and the nozzle. Your M1 was just cleaning the nozzle on the brush. Despite the terrifying sound of that beep, it is not an error beep. Your M1 print has begun. One glaring omission in this printer is the lack of a camera. Its nearest competitor, the Kokoni and the X-Maker, both have cameras that allow for both monitoring and much cooler, time-lapse. The inability to make time-lapse is somewhat disappointing. However, the fan and movement of this printer sound just like a real printer. And so far, its first layer looks just like a real printer. It's worth noting this machine does have baby stepping. If you have difficulty with your first layer, you may click on the screen, scroll down to Tune, scroll down to Baby Step Z, and adjust the height by lowering or raising your Z offset. Keep in mind, GeeeTech's notes do say the machine does not save this adjustment. It will be for this print only. To back out, press the button again. On this screen, you may also pause, stop, tune, or configure. In configure, you can turn on or off your runout sensor, your case light, all lights, or sounds. Note the runout sensor is defaulted to off. Makes me wonder if there even is one. I don't see one. Going to main, you will see pause print, stop print, or tune. Inside tune, you can adjust the speed, nozzle temp, or bed temp of the printer. These are important controls that you may sometimes need, and it's good to know where they are. Doing such a small test print with such a large tool head, it's somewhat difficult to see the print and the first layer, but it does to me look like it's doing okay. Many thanks to FlexiSpot for my motorized desk. It's a lifesaver. Looks like my M1 is getting along with the iBoss 200 gram filament spool. We have a really smooth feed going on here. I'm also willing to bet we could very easily mod this thing to have a front door or cover. Nerds, do your thing. However, the back of the printer provides more obstacles due to this cable and cable guard moving beyond the boundaries of the printer body. A properly cut piece of acrylic or even a 3D printed plate with a proper notch could likely be fitted right here. With more use of the GeeeTech M1 printer, I'll have a better idea of its reliability and performance. However, looking at its build quality and setup process, and taking into account I can use a mainstream slicer such as Cura and ORCA, I am somewhat pleasantly surprised and feeling a little bit optimistic about this printer's potential. Typically, pricing is a sticking point for smaller printers like this compared to the aggressive pricing in full-size printers that is available today. However, there is a niche market for these little printers when it comes to younger people and parents, as well as people with limited space. I do notice the light just went out, so I guess, unlike Motel 6, GeeeTech won't leave the light on for you. Pressing the button turned the light back on. There is no time lapse and no video monitoring, so a full-time light's probably not necessary, but I'm willing to bet in the settings there's an option to turn that timer off. Anywho, I was somewhat hesitant to build this printer as I was expecting more of the same outdated, antiquated, overpriced technology. However, it does look like modern technology in a small package priced reasonably well, and more important, it uses a real slicer and it works. Where that fits into your life and if that's worth anything to you is up to you. I'm Greg Adventure and you're on 3D Rundown.